evening, Corvallis. Welcome to a new month and a new episode. Tonight we have just one question for you. What do you get when you mix dinosaur fights with women's rights?
An hour-long special because it's Split Screen Ladies Night.
Ooh. Welcome to Week 8 Split Screeners. Tonight we are proud to present the very first Split Screen hour-long special of the term, and we're kicking it off with a bang. Joining me on the couch today is Sarah Weaver, Abby Erickson, Kat Fitzsimmons, and Kat Poland.
As well as the special edition of the brand new game everybody's been talking about, Horizon Zero Dawn.
We're going to take an exclusive look at what the game has in store and discuss one of today's most taboo topics, fighting like a girl in the world of gaming culture.
But before we get started, it's time for your weekly news update.
With the Switch coming out around the corner, the hype has never been more real. We've got all your Nintendo news and more right here, right now. Take a look.
News time, children.
On Thursday, February 23rd, the DICE Awards were hosted by Greg Miller and Jessica Chabot in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are some of the winners. An Outstanding Achievement in Animation, the winner was Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. An Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, Inside took the prize. The Outstanding Achievement in Character Award went to The Last Guardian with Trico. An Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition went to Doom. Uncharted 4 also won the awards for Outstanding Achievement in Story and Outstanding Technical Achievement, and went on to win Adventure Game of the Year as well. Action Game of the Year went to Overwatch, Family went to Ratchet & Clank, Fighting to Street Fighter V, Sports to Steep, and the Strategy Simulation Game of the Year was Civilization VI. Finally, Outstanding Achievement in Game Design went to Overwatch. Overwatch also won the Outstanding Achievement in Online Gameplay and the prestigious Game of the Year award. Congratulations to all of the nominees, and let's look forward to another awesome year for gaming.
Rumors continue to swirl around Overwatch about the potential new character or events in-game as new information is dropped, this time by Blizzard themselves. On the 21st, Blizzard tweeted out a mock news story about Effie, an 11-year-old child prodigy from Numbani. The link in the tweet leads to an interview where more is revealed about the character. For instance, she likes to build robots in her spare time, and she's got big plans coming up. The last of which is reinforced by another tweet from Blizzard yesterday. Keeping the same news motif, the tweet reports the destruction of defense robots in the Numbani airport. No other information has been given, but one thing is clear: Blizzard is on the move with the next hero.
The Switch launches in just 2 days. This is not a drill. However, there are a couple of problems that have occurred with the Switch consoles sent to the press. First, it seems that for some people, the left Joy-Con controller is having sync issues with the console. However, Nintendo may release a fix for this in the Day 1 patch. Second, there will be no virtual console games at launch. Nintendo has not said more on the subject, but not all news is bad news. The Switch's Mii editor has been shown, and among having many new options, there is also a wide variation of colors for you to choose from for all available hairstyles, facial hair, etc. Finally, Nintendo announced that indie games Fast RMX and Shovel Knight Treasure Trove will be released at launch. It appears that we will have plenty to play this weekend on the Nintendo Switch.
The creators of the strategy game series The Banner Saga has teamed up with Twitch in a very strange relationship. Between February 23rd and February 28th, Twitch Prime subscribers downloaded the original Banner Saga via Twitch at no cost. March 2nd, The Banner Saga 2 will also become free. For every person that downloads and plays one of these games between February 23rd and March 6th, Twitch will give $1 toward the development of The Banner Saga 3, up to $200,000. This is on top of the fact that The Banner Saga 3 has already $100,000 over their Kickstarter goal.
Blizzard introduced a feature in World of Warcraft that allows people to convert World of Warcraft tokens into money on your Battle.net account back in 2015. At the time, it was designed for people to buy cosmetic items from the World of Warcraft store or pay for name changes. The way it works is a bit confusing, but the short of it is this. In World of Warcraft, time is literally money, and people will pay for that time. Players can basically use their time to get tokens, cash them in for 15 bucks on Battle.net, and then put that towards loot boxes in Overwatch. While it may be efficient and you may look cool during battle, it won't help you develop the skills you need to play higher level Overwatch.
The stigma for licensed games is typically bad movie tie-ins, but it appears that Marvel has decided to go the alternative route. In an interview with IGN, Marvel Games creative director Bill Rossman has assured that teams hired to create their games are being given creative freedom. "We want all of our games to tell an original, all-new story," he said. "We want our development partners to have passion and to put their stamp on the games. We're not going to rush things, we're not going to get things out before they're done. We want every game to be Game of the Year, so we're going to be focusing on each game at a time. We know that there are certain characters that people are really hungry for, but right now, we're just focusing on getting those right."
News time, children.
Thanks, guys. It's been a busy week out there.
Stay up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because we'll be unboxing a Switch of our own this weekend. You don't want to miss it.
Of course, we'll be doing some unboxing today as well, but first, let's meet the guests. Thanks for joining us, and welcome, ladies. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, why you're here at OSU, and maybe a little bit about where you game. We'll start with Abby.
All right. I'm Abby Erickson. I'm a senior here at OSU. I'm graduating in the spring, and I'm getting my BA in New Media Communications. That's basically why I'm here, because that's my jam. And I currently mainly am a PC gamer, and I usually play everything, basically anything that Blizzard makes, everything from Overwatch to World of Warcraft. And I also dabble in things like Skyrim and The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed, basically anything.
All right, Kat with a C.
I'm Kat Fitzsimmons. I am also a graduating senior here at Oregon State University. I am a Bachelor of Fine Arts with a minor in art history. I'm also the assistant editor of Prism, which is our art and lit magazine journal here on campus. And gaming-wise, I started with my Game Boy and Pokemon Blue and Mario Brothers, moved through some card games, did some PC, like StarCraft kind of stuff, and then eventually got into my Xbox 360 and then the One.
Awesome. Kat with a K.
I'm Kat with a K. I'm kind of a senior. I graduate next year, and I'm in the BFA program for digital communications. And I got an N64 and then a Game Boy and Pokemon and Mario Party, and moved up through to a GameCube and then Xbox 360 and an Xbox One. And I play kind of and a little bit of PC, but it's really only Sims, so I can just make families and then torture them.
So Sims.
Yeah. What else do you do in The Sims?
All right. And my guest host today is Sarah Weaver.
Hello, hi. My name is Sarah, obviously with an S. I'm also a BFA student in the Digital Communication Arts program here at Oregon State. I'm a junior, and I have minimal experience with gaming. I didn't actually play through an entire video game up until very, very recently, and that was Life is Strange. So take that as you will, but I'm trying to slowly but surely get myself into that culture.
All right, thanks guys. We have some varied experience here, and there's a reason why tonight's theme is women in gaming, because as we know, women are underrepresented demographic in gaming and geek culture in general.
So before we hop into the game, let's take a moment to talk about why women are so objectified and suppressed in both the audience and the industry.
So let's begin that by kind of taking a little look at what it's like to be a woman in the gaming culture. Sarah has the least amount of experience, so let's start with you.
Well,
why have you started so late?
I started so late because mostly, one, I didn't really get access to consoles or gaming in general, by which I mean my first console was the Wii. My parents never really encouraged me to play video games. It was just never really a big thing in my life, even though a lot of my male friends did play video games. And what I noticed is a lot of my male friends were this is a thing that we do.
Boys.
It's a boy thing that we do. So I just never really felt that I was personally allowed to enter that culture, even though I really wanted to. I want to get into the gaming culture more, and that was one of the reasons why I got involved in split screen. But it wasn't up until I'm 20 years old now and I still haven't really played through a video game, and that's really why. Because I just didn't feel like I was allowed to join that culture.
Does anybody else have a similar experience?
I mean, with
Yes,
we all do.
Yeah.
I mean, well, in the sense that it feels exclusive to.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't play, like, Destiny was my first FPS because I was so afraid to play, because, again, like, I have a very obviously female gamer tag, like, I am Lady Marmalade, and I play as character, I usually play as a female, like, the female avatar, if there is one, or my armor is pink, like, as bright as pink, so it's very obvious, and so I was always afraid to, like, play with guys, because I was afraid, like, I would get picked on as a girl, and usually, like, I play with my friends, but, like, in times that, like, I played with strangers, or strangers have come into our group, like, it can be, I've had a little bit of harassment, and it can always be like a little bit nerve-wracking because it's just like, is this going to be somebody that's like okay, or is this going to be a creeper?
Yeah.
And you don't know.
I think a big reason about it though is like the way women are portrayed in video games is a lot different than we are in real life, and it's about objectification. There is a very firm line in my opinion anyways of the difference between when a woman is just her own being, she proclaims her sexuality, she proclaims who she is, she defines herself and her individualism by just her body. It's her body and she knows what she's doing, versus when, you know, she's a subject to the male gaze and she's developed in a way, especially in video games, that just kind of accents that part of her solely. Like, yeah, she's cool and she kicks butt, and especially this, who I'm thinking of personally is a lot of the Mortal Kombat women, Dead or Alive, Lara Croft. Like, Lara Croft is a really cool character, but my first experience with Lara Croft is she is wearing tight little leather shorts and a tank top.
Well, in the 2012 remake, there was a huge, they obviously changed her character model, and they made her like a much more, and part of the image with Lara Croft especially was just like the gaming graphics that were around in the 1990s. And Tifa kind of has the same problem from Final Fantasy VII, like where the graphics were like, we need to make her a girl, make it like very obviously that she's a female, but with the limited graphics, the way they did that was making her gigantically boobed. But like when you look at her character art, it's not quite the same. But in 2012, they upped her character model, and there was like this huge backlash because her breasts are small. She's no longer Lara Croft.
Right, and like another thing that I really find that is kind of really underrepresented, especially in gaming, is like people of color and like women of color specifically. Like, I remember the woman from Half-Life 2, and like I don't remember her name. Like I didn't get a chance to like get a hands-on with that. Like, I think her name is Alex, but I could be wrong. And of my generation,
I think it's Alex Vance.
Alex Vance?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and of my generation, the only one that comes to mind is Faith from Mirror's Edge. What about an Overwatch?
I was going to say, Overwatch is the only like game that I can think of that has diversity of that magnitude when it comes to people of color, women, people of different sexual orientations, disabilities, etc. Like that's like
body
the one
silence.
that's like body style. That's the one place where you can find all of it. You really don't see diversity of that caliber in most, at least like single player RPGs, for example.
And if it is, it's like you have to create them yourself. Like, what I like about creative characters is that you create your own character because it's yours, and that you create something that you identify with. But for the games where you have your set characters, like even if it's a massive cast, and it's like, aside from Overwatch, if it's a story-driven thing, like usually the only character that you can identify with if you're a woman is a straight white woman who's over-sexualized. But, you know, there needs to be more women of color.
And that's another issue also. It's like the only time I've ever seen a queer woman, like female character in a video game, though this is from my limited gaming experience, is Max from Life is Strange.
And I remember specifically one of the first like queer girls I ever saw, like actually like queer, like she's gay or at least bisexual, is Ellie from The Last of Us, and that was DLC.
Also, but BioWare has done like a really good job because like in BioWare 1, oh my god, Mass Effect 1 has Ashley, who is Hispanic, and and then in the second game they have Jacob, who is black, and they have the girl that you can romance if you're a male or a female, but I don't remember her name. Liara is a female or male option, but she's an alien, so I don't know if that really counts. And that's I don't know if the queer thing like really counts if it's an alien. It doesn't exist. But then also in Mass Effect 3, you have Samantha Trainer, who is a person of color and gay and a lesbian, and then and he's not romanceable by the main character, but the male pilot that I cannot remember his name off the top of my head.
But
and
also,
he's gay and not
male characters in general are just, they create this sense of masculinity in a way in gaming that kind of like sets it up so like boys who grow up with these characters grow up feeling like they have to be like them. They have to be macho, they have to be straight, they have to be, you know, cutthroat, they have to be good looking, they have to be buff, they have to know how to use a gun, they have to, you know, shoot fire from some orifice of their body.
Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem.
Honestly, Duke Nukem. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous.
Well, what are your guys' experiences with identifying, like, especially like, how about you guys? Yeah. Male character. What is like the male character that you like can like think of a male character that isn't like this massive toxic thing of masculinity? Who can like think of one or like several?
I would go with I can only really think of Overwatch in this context. I can.
They're doing good things in Overwatch.
Like Lucio, for example, I think we were talking about earlier, or like Genji. You know, these guys, with Overwatch at least, it's more about like kind of the moral drives behind these characters rather than just their physique or their gameplay abilities or whatever. And then their gameplay abilities reflect kind of their personality. So it's way more about like the personality of the character, and it's this way more diverse, like it's just a very different look and feel.
I know one of the first like console games that I got my hands on when I was like a teenager was Call of Duty, and that was like my first like real look at masculinity in gaming. And I know Kat with a C has gotten into the Call of Duty online thing.
Yes.
How do you feel about the ways in which, like, I'm not going to go into the whole spiel of Call of Duty being this evil thing because it's not, but there is toxic masculinity involved in both the game itself and in the online culture.
So sorry, what is the question? How do I feel about the
ways in which Call of Duty portrays just masculinity in general?
Is it bad if I say that I'm just desensitized already? Like, honestly, I grew up with like bro gamers that treated me like a bro, so we played bro games, and of course a bro game is Call of Duty, where it's all like a bunch of pretty much just white dudes shooting each other. And so I just kind of took it. I mean, I could critique it, but at the same time, I also kind of enjoy it, so I feel a little
I feel like it really varies though,
conflicted.
because it's like I play with, again, I play Destiny. Usually I am the only girl in a team of 6. And like with the people I know really well, like we trash talk each other and like we say like mean things. And it's funny because like we're all friends and like I know it's a joke, but like if somebody came into the party and then and like I've had people come into the party, hear how like we talk to each other and then talk to me the same way. And it's like, no, absolutely not. Like you are not, it's like you are not my friend. We don't know each other. Like we don't have that same, like if it's, so yeah, I feel like it varies.
I get that. I definitely do.
Like I mean, generally no, like I wouldn't recommend like going up to a random girl and being like, oh yeah, it's bro talk, like
locker room talk.
Yeah, like
speaking of locker room talk,
yeah,
we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we'll be taking a quick hands-on look at Horizon Zero Dawn and unboxing some of the special edition bonus content.
Stay tuned.
I was the editor of my school magazine at my high school, and I was really interested in continuing to do design and layout and just working with media. I mean, what I want to do with the rest of my life, I want to be a doctor, and the thing that I think is most applicable to that career field is being able to collaborate and work with a group of people. And design, even though it does look like I'm just sitting at my computer alone all the time, it is a heavily collaborative process. It requires a lot of different people working together, and medicine is the same way. Everyone should have that visual or creative outlet that that will allow them to express themselves. I couldn't imagine being a doctor without also being an artist. I couldn't imagine being a scientist without also being a designer, because those parts of myself permeate every other part of myself. I'm Tracy Sokolsky. I'm a graphic design here at OMN, and I am in the integrated biology major with a pre-med option.
Welcome back to an extra special episode of Split Screen. We're here with Sarah Weaver, Kat Fitzsimmons, Kat Poland, and Abby Erickson, talking about women in gaming and taking a hands-on look at Horizon Zero Dawn. Are you all excited to experience what is Horizon Zero Dawn? One of the most anticipated games of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Ready?
Yeah.
Well, we're all very eager. But we're gonna, as eager as I am to fight some dinos, let's first take a look at the perks of the special edition of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Earlier today, we got a chance to unbox the collector's edition and check out all the loot that's inside. So here's a quick recap on what you can expect from this really awesome bundle.
Hello, Split Screeners. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us today. On the couch with me today is my good friend and guest host, Sarah Weaver.
Hello, everybody.
Sarah's normally behind the scenes as our social media manager, but today she will be on the couch with us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
All right, so today we have the collector's edition of Horizon Zero Dawn to unbox. So those of you who have got the collector's edition already have probably already opened yours, but don't spoil anything for anybody because we're here to do that for you. So when you first get the box, this is the one that's going to come in. It's got some beautiful concept art of Aloy on it, but once you open that box, inside it is another box. And this box is beautiful because it also has some concept art on it, but it's got a whole bunch of stuff on it. It's like a full 360 of everything. And then the front of this box is actually the front cover of the game, if you haven't noticed. It's beautiful. What do you say we crack this open and find out what's inside?
Let's do it.
All right. So you're going to want to open the box on the side because it isn't open on the top. Once you open it, the first thing in here are two things. The first thing is the art book. Why don't you tell us what's in there, Sarah?
Okay, so with this, you get a 48-page book of concept art, which was made in collaboration with Dark Horse Comics from Portland, which is very cool and exciting. The book does have some spoilers, so I'm not gonna show you the entire thing, but what it does have is it has some great pictures of the village before, the village decaying, the village after, and it also has some concept art of Aloy as well. If you take a look at that, it's just amazing.
I love it.
It's awesome.
I love it.
I want it framed in my house.
How many pages are there?
48. 48,
Wow.
yeah.
We're not going to spoil any of those for you. You can do that by yourself or find it somewhere else on the internet. The second thing we have in the box initially is our beautiful steelbook case. Now, the steelbook case is different than the regular case. The designers went with what they described as an 80s movie poster theme modeled after, stuff like Star Wars. And I know Star Wars is 70s, but you get the point. Inside the steelbook case, you will find, of course, your disc. And we've removed ours for various purposes, but in here you will find codes for your DLC that you get because you ordered the collector's edition. I'm going to set both of these things on the table now so that we can continue to see what we're looking at. And then, as I set these, what we're going to find inside is the grand prize that we've all been waiting for. Styrofoam.
It's another box, but it's foam.
I'd do a drum roll, but that would hurt the mics. We have our beautiful 9-inch statue of Aloy standing atop a watcher that she has shot and killed. And I do remember hearing that they used the actual in-game models to render and produce this. So there's just some absolutely gorgeous detail in this. So much detail, in fact, actually. I'm gonna set it atop this box.
That's amazing. Like, I don't even play video games that often, but I can appreciate the art, and that is beautiful.
Actually, even it comes with removable arrows that you can actually place in your model when you're done. And they're really tiny, so be sure not to lose them. And look for them in your case. Don't let these go to waste. But now that we're done with that, Thank you for joining us in this beautiful unboxing split screeners, and stay tuned to watch us in the gameplay. Thanks.
Peace out.
Now that we've covered the basics, it's time to pop in the game and see what it's all about. This game is now 2 days old and has been highly anticipated since it was first announced at E3 in 2015.
The game is set in a distant future where humans and robotic dinosaurs coexist and features a number of feminist themes such as the main character Aloy and her matriarchal society.
So let's jump right in. Who wants to start? I've set the game up so that we are about to go into a part of the story where we meet Rost. Who wants to fight a giant sawtooth?
Should we just go down the line?
Someone who is a console person.
Someone who's a console gamer at least.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm the only one on
the
this couch
and I
who's
seem
a
to play
PS4
these
gamer,
games pretty
so.
similarly, as in we just kind of go up in melee, whatever. So,
So talk
honestly.
to Rost.
Ooh, it's about to get serious.
I mean, why don't you give us a little background?
So, none of this is going to make sense to anybody who doesn't know the background of this game, but essentially the background of this game is this is human life post-apocalyptic, and yes, I used 2 posts. That means basically what happened was humans developed their society into what we consider a science fiction future. In the year 2066, this all kind of fell apart, essentially, and human life, for some mysterious reason in this game, kind of just died. And there was like this cataclysmic, horrible thing that happened. We aren't sure what it is yet. That's part of the game to figure it out. And we come in contact with Aloy and her society, which I'm guessing, I haven't actually read this yet, it's at least 50 to 100 years later. And kind of, society is kind of like moved backwards in their development. Like they're still intelligent, they still speak fluent languages, they have societies, they have religion, they have weapons, they have, hunting skills, and they're intelligent people, and they have, contextual conversations, as you can see now. But they're back to living kind of like Neanderthalish worlds, or, there's parts of it that are Neanderthalish where people who are just not, what's the word? They're not developed, but there are also other people who kind of have moved forward into the lives of indigenous folk, like of Native Americans. They live like Native Americans, but it's not the same culture. It's a developed culture. There are actually a lot of people of color in this game. That's one thing I do commend this on. I mean, the main characters are white, but still.
Wasn't there a big controversy because the good characters are people of color, but the bad characters are like white men? Or I've heard that there was a controversy about that.
With this game?
Yeah, with this game.
I was going to say there might be controversy with like the attempt at potentially culturally appropriating Native Americans.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that's a big glaring error. Like,
Awkward.
I don't understand. I haven't seen the flashback. I've seen a lot of flashback about Aloy. Aloy. And like just the fact that like she wears dreads and like she's not a very feminine. She's a female main character, but she's not a very feminine female main character. Like she's not really like what you would expect. She's not like Lara Croft in like 1990s with like the tank top and the booty shorts. Yeah, right.
Honestly, so I think what you need to do is you go to the bonfire behind you.
Wait.
And hit quick save.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that'll trigger.
The thing that's on fire.
That'll trigger.
Let's jump.
I'm like, well. Into the fire. All right, so essentially, Aloy is going into this, this unbeknownst to her trial that Rost has set up, who is her father figure. Aloy is an outcast, so she was born an outcast. And part of the mystery of this game is finding out why Aloy is an outcast. Essentially, an outcast in her tribe is they did something illegal to get cast out of the tribe.
So it's not like the caste system, like where
in India?
Yeah,
no,
like that's what. Okay, that's what.
Mash the X button. Let's get to the action. Wait.
Skip.
Square button. Yeah.
Square button. Get your shapes right now.
Get your shapes in order,
I
cat.
misunderstood. I thought that like it was kind of like a caste system. So like she was an outcast, born an outcast, and now like.
No, like it's essentially Aloy's tribe. If you do something illegal, you get like a sentence for being an outcast. Like you have to go live in the wild without the support of the tribe, and it's illegal for tribal members to talk to you. Rost was tossed out of the tribe. We don't know why. That's another mystery. Aloy was, as a newborn, cast out and given to Rust to raise as an outcast.
Okay.
So she's never had any interaction with this tribe except like people who break the law by talking to her. And part of this game is to find out why. So this sequence is kind of like a boss fight-ish.
Sweet.
I have no idea how this is going to turn out.
Oh, hello, friend.
I don't think I have a friend.
Yeah.
He doesn't look happy to see you.
What are some of your guys'
I'm
like
not happy
favorite
to see
boss
him.
levels from specific games?
Anything in Diablo that's advanced is always fun, but those bosses get kind of boring after a while because they repeat a bunch.
Yeah.
I did a lot of raiding when I played World of Warcraft more avidly. So I mean, any fight from that was always super unique. And then I go and fight like a boss in an RPG, and it actually would seem almost a little underwhelming. But maybe that's just me.
Bowser, anyone?
Bowser and the OG.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the only
The
video
OG
games I was
boss.
allowed to play.
Do you want to take over?
Sure. I was gonna say, like, raiding and Destiny is definitely an experience, especially because, like, I kind of got to a point, like, where I was chirping raids, and so, like, Kingsfall can take, I've legitimately been in a raid that I thought was gonna be, like, an hour and a half. It was 6 hours.
Oh my
We
Lord.
signed off at
Goodness.
midnight, and I was like, I was not prepared. And I was the one with, and at that time, like, it was one of those raids, I was the one with the most experience, and that was the bad sign. And it was,
Oh, we're getting intense here.
oh boy.
Oh, prepared
Hello.
to melee.
Wow.
You're kind of cute.
That's a beautiful.
It's like a kitty.
The beauty
robot.
Sawtooth.
Call it over.
Is he just gonna like shove her into the pit? I mean,
Oh,
like your
goodness.
kid.
It just wants to cuddle.
That's literally what he's doing, though.
Like that
She's just-
fox.
She's just like, how do I do this? And he's like, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. I'm not helping you.
Which I can get that to
Rip
a degree
you.
because of this kind of test, but also,
But also in real life,
no.
All right, kids. Let's see how you guys do.
All right, how do you?
triangle,
How do you
hold
fight?
it down to search the supply crate, probably, and then triangle again. And then go forward.
All right.
Yeah,
So
let's try
note,
the crouch.
Oh, yeah. you
there
probably
our
we
lovely
go.
ladies on the couch have just been thrust into this game. They don't have much experience with the controls. We played a little bit beforehand, but I'm just kind of letting them go with it.
Angered it.
Nope. You don't see me.
A big part of this game is stealth, which I personally
shit,
really
he's
like.
coming up here.
That's an aspect of The Last of Us that I really enjoyed,
you
is
get
the
up here?
stealth of it. But we have a cat, especially on the couch, who just kind of barrels into things like a tank and just hacks and slash until she wins.
This is bad.
I mean,
Strategies are strategies.
it's that classic arcade game style of button mash,
Yes.
where you learn that A does something
And then you
and
just
you press it a lot.
Oh no, excuse me. Oh.
Oh!
I made a mistake. Nope.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm about to die.
that is
Sarah's
how I
melee,
got
I
through
think.
Smash.
Get up on the D-pad.
I was like, ah!
Nope.
Oh god, oh
Up on the
god.
D-pad.
Nope.
Just somersault, just keep somersaulting. Roll out! You're on a roll, cat, you're on a roll! Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, man.
Everyone dissolves into screaming.
I'm so glad no one heard that pun.
Sarah, you want to try?
Oh,
Do it!
oh god, I've never
Do
played
it.
a PS4 before. Okay, what do I do? Is it loading?
Yes.
No, that was me. I'm used to my Xbox, so I'm
Oh,
just like, what
heck.
are controls?
I'm the only person here who's a PS4 gamer. This is just fun.
Okay, how do I lay
I'm
traps?
the only unfamiliar with these
Okay,
controls.
you guys are gonna need to help me with this. How do I lay traps? How do I do anything?
You can't lay traps, I don't think.
Yeah, you can. We just don't have any because we skipped all the way through this.
So how do I do this?
You don't.
Wing it.
Just melee.
Set us up for
Why did my controller
I
vibrate?
love
Why did it
setting
do
my
that?
friends up
Why
for
did it-
failure.
Oh no!
Yep.
No! How do I fight it?
Right
Oh
trigger.
god!
Right trigger. What's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pointer finger. Just go up to it.
aim at it.
Just hit it. Just hit it a lot.
Oh god, I'm so raspy.
This is Sparta.
That yell just made me lose all my voice. All my vocal powers
no.
are gone.
You will have no
Okay,
voice.
come on.
This is fun. This is like
I'm
watching.
gonna.
This is like watching the Hunger
That was
Games
some nice
for me.
foliage. Oh, what, did I die?
Sarah as tribute.
Ooh,
We volunteered Sarah as tribute. It's beautiful.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Who's
that
next?
shows you my gaming experience.
Do you want to try?
All right, hit me with it.
Abby's
Like,
turn.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, she just kind of throws in the middle of the boss fight.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have like
How do you shoot
a
again?
like at least
the same
You know,
controls.
some time to prep up.
The thing is,
So
like,
hold the
I am
left
so
trigger to
bad
aim.
at playing video games,
then
like
hold
in a
right
timely
to pull your-
fashion.
draw your
Like I
bow.
tried to play the intro to Resident
hold
Evil
the right
7.
trigger.
Yeah.
It's supposed to take you 15 minutes.
And
It
then
took me an
release
hour
right.
and 6.
Yeah.
And it did not go well. There was lots of screaming. Mostly because my controller was vibrating and I didn't know why. Which again shows my video game experience.
Can I ask a question of the lady gamers?
What is the question?
So we've talked about representation of women and, and sexism in games.
Yes.
But outside
Yep,
of
just keep
gaming,
hopping, sure.
what is your funniest or least favorite experience just being labeled as a girl gamer in a very negative context?
So I kind of grew up in a nice little bubble where all the way up until I was a teenager in high school, I was kind of protected and told that I could do and play whatever I wanted.
Took a tree with it. Took a tree with me.
And it wasn't until I got to high school that like I got the online gaming and I got the misogyny, I got the sexism, and I kind of internalized it, and I internalized it a lot, and it was really bad. It was really bad. I became a really toxic person, and I kind of like hated other girls, and it was not good at all. Don't ever do that. You should love your friends.
I don't know. I had some, like, I dove right into MMOs when I started gaming. So I like immediately got
Like the tall grass.
Like
that
the tall
girl
grass.
gamer thing, and
that.
I don't know.
So like crouch.
I just kind of developed a
Square.
thick skin as a result. Like, you play an MMO because you like to play the game, or you play any kind of game in general where you have to interact with other people.
Okay.
You kind of just become desensitized to it.
Yeah, there is a kind of desensitization after a while. Like I'm at the point where like if I'm playing online and if I don't automatically mute the team chat or the group chat that comes online, and I have to listen to them.
She's a serious.
And I listen to them, I'm like, I'm good, I'm out.
Okay, but I think we can actually. So I saw the little thing light up. You mentioned like the aiming system in this game. It looked like it kind
Can I
of
try?
hovered over the leg. So I feel like
She's gonna like
you could just
beat
kind of
it, like,
limit.
in 5 seconds. She's just gonna look at it.
Well,
and be
yeah,
like,
because she's put 12 hours.
and then
in
walk
this game.
away. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think like answering Kat's question, one of like the most like funny and also kind of sad experiences I had with the whole fake gamer girl thing, because like, I'm not a gamer. I'm scared of the rumble packs in most controllers. But one of the big things about me not getting into video games was like, I would ask my guy friends like, hey, teach me about this. Like, what is this? And they were like, why do you need to know? Like, why do you want to know? Like,
Ew.
are like, why are you just trying to get into video games now? Are you trying to do it because it's cool? Like, are you trying to be different? I'm like, no, I just genuinely want to know. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like, it's fine.
Like,
Like,
awkwardly
you
jump
have
down your throat.
your guys club, I guess. But it was just like, again, like that. There was that lack of access, but I could have gotten around that. I could have like gone down to the video store, which is actually like a really like archaic sentence for me to say now. But
The video store.
It's a video
Blockbuster.
store.
Shout out to Hollywood Films and Blockbuster.
I was gonna say,
Right,
rent games from Blockbuster.
But it was mostly that issue of like, I never felt comfortable enough to even like where these guys who I consider to be like my best friends just like literally would not let me enter that sphere, because I think they felt like I was encroaching on something of great value to them.
Does it count for like endgame?
Yeah, well, I was just asking outside of game, but I mean, yes.
So-
Please talk about playing online in game.
Yeah, no, I couldn't think of anything like off the top of, like, I'm sure it's that, like, I mean, I know I've got them, like oh yeah, are you playing with your boyfriend? Or like, where's your boyfriend? Or is your gamer, or like, did you get this achievement because of your boyfriend? Like, did your boyfriend take the controller? It's like, no, I did. But I was doing, again, Destiny, I was doing a raid, and we had one guy in the group who was just like, really just very awkward, and so in Destiny, like, you pick up armor, and like I was wearing like I had just got this piece of raid armor for the first time, and I put it on. It had like these gigantic shoulder pads, and I mentioned something
Victory!
like,
Naturally.
I'm sure if I had played it before.
yeah, if we had played it correctly,
Laying traps,
like
which
if we
Emmy
didn't just like
tell us how
run
to lay
straight up
traps.
to it.
It's almost like
I fed them to the
Honestly.
wolves.
Yeah, it's almost like she's played
Actually,
this game for
on
several
live TV.
hours. I just don't get it. But we had so it had like these huge shoulder pads, and it mentioned something about being really ugly, and I didn't like. And this guy who had been a problem the entire game was just like, it's because you're a girl. You just want it to be pink. And I was like, no, I just really don't like the shoulder pads.
I'll see you at
And then later, he was explaining something to somebody else, and I accidentally killed myself, but I killed myself in a way that I couldn't be revived. Like, nobody could get to where I was. And so eventually, like, my friend who was there noticed what I had done, and so so I'm laughing, and so he started laughing, but like, we're trying to keep it down because like we didn't want to distract the guy. And so eventually he finishes his discussion, and everybody else at this point has figured out like what I have done and how dumb I was. And so like we all are cracking up and like laughing really loudly. I'm like, we need to wipe because I can't be revived. And so at this point, like, I am still laughing because it was really, really dumb. And the guy's just like, don't listen to her while she's apologizing. She's not really sorry. That's what girls do. They're manipulative little wench. And it was this huge tangent. I was just like,
Someone just broke up really
badly. I can imagine like the stream of
just
profane
and it was just kind of like,
something did not happen that you wanted to happen. Yeah.
It's like, that went a completely different direction than what I had actually been thinking. It's like,
honestly, playing with people online is so irritating.
It can be so hit or miss. Like, I have met some amazing people.
I genuinely just turn off all team chats and player chats. Like, I
learn to ignore it.
Yeah.
Like in your UI.
If you want to play online and strategize with people, you kind of need to talk. And so I
it's so hard.
I have an Xbox One and like Turtle Beaches and everything, so I'll play online.
Turtle Beach.
Yeah. And then I'll hear some like squeaky, cracky voice go, "Are you a girl?"
Right, and then, it's always someone who's like 12.
12.
Oh no, 12 is like the age. It's the age where you run into that. It's bizarre.
And then they set the tone for all of the rest of the men that can hear you and that have access to speaking to you to start to talk down to you, even though this some 12-year-old that is literally less than half my age is like all of a sudden like starting.
Right, which it does kind of like beg the question of like, you know, ages and viewpoints and whether or not those like change in gamer culture, like the older a gamer gets, maybe not even like just a male gamer, like as a female gamer, like how does your attitude shift the more you game and like the older you get and the more life experience you get? Because like I know people who when they were younger, they were very problematic in like online games in that kind of situation, and now they're just totally chill. So
they mute their mic all the time.
Well, yeah, there you go.
So for Destiny, like I started using a site called the 100.io, and like so there's Reddit LFG, which is like looking for group, and it's a scary place. I don't go there very often. But like on IO or on the 100, it's been
Kill it.
I'm great at killing giant robotic death traps, but I can't kill a warthog.
Eat it. Amen.
Kat and I were taking out the turkeys earlier. I don't know what your problem is.
They're so small. They're so small.
But like on the IO, like you can, or on the 100, you can match by your age range. And so most of the people that I play, and of course, they're always creepers. Like they're always going to be somebody who is just not a good person to play with. But I've also ended up playing with like people that were close, and also like, and I'm pretty sure I'm older than all you ladies by a substantial number of years. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm 12.
Yes.
I love that.
But I've ended up with people like in their late 20s, early 30s, and like the gameplay experience is so much. Now it's at the point like when an 18-year-old joins my game, I'm just like, no.
Oh
no. I wanna.
What is that? I haven't experienced anything super bad with 18-year-olds.
No, not really. It's just like when you're used to play. And also like I usually
Where do you want me to
adult
go,
drinking,
game? Pick up
Iron Banners. And so like when somebody that's under 21 joins, it's just kind of like I feel really uncomfortable, or like when people that are under 18 join, because I don't want their parents messaging me later and being like, you said a bad word in front of my child. How dare you?
Can we take a minute though to appreciate how beautiful this game is?
Yes.
And
Look at this map.
This isn't even like the ultra high def 4K version or whatever for the the PlayStation 4 Pro, which I think is the most pretentious name for a console ever.
Xbox One Pro.
Yeah. but this game is so gorgeous.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate like the depth of the landscape?
The
is
depth of
just
field, yeah.
insane. I haven't even gotten to the part where I understand what that thing that is jutting out of the mountain monster
It looks like something out of the Matrix.
Is it a seamless world or does it load?
So from my understanding is once you load a map, it's like The Witcher where you load into a map.
Yep.
And so the map is seamless, but
Okay.
you can travel to different points on the map.
All right, gotcha.
Can you like fast travel?
Yeah, you can for a point in this game, but we are still in the wee beginning.
The wee beginning.
Is
We're
it just
wee babs.
me, or is it always the beginning of the game that you're the most intrigued and kind of the most bored? Because you're
Yeah.
like, I just want
You're
good
just doing a whole bunch
Yeah,
of side
'cause you're
quests to like
confined.
level up and like
Like, have you ever
smash
gotten
through
to the
everything.
point, like I got to a point in Fallout where I needed to progress. Like I needed to level up to progress, but I needed to progress to level up. And so I just was like in this loop of like, and like I need to just like restart that file because I
I
can't
just didn't
get
want to
past
talk
the
to this
point
dude
where
who's
I'm
just
at.
dying on the
I
ground.
started playing the most recent Fallout, and I got stuck in the very beginning on that giant monster thing in the abandoned city that like slams.
I was talking to somebody else about that. Like you can, so I found out that like, so it's called a death claw, and I also had a really huge problem with the death claw, and like, so I had such a problem with it that it got bored and it left. But you have to beat it to beat that section. So I sent my dog after it, and then the dog would come back, and the death claw would come after it, and then like you could shoot it.
range shoot
Doggy!
it.
Yeah, and then I kept on sending, so I would send my dog after it just continually.
Poor dog.
I think like the worst thing to deal with too when you're in like the tutorial phase of a game is, I mean, obviously like given the complexity of the game, the tutorial is going to be really long and that kind of stuff. But like if there is a glitch and you're just done, it's like, all right, I got this game for 10 minutes and there's a glitch
Why did it
and there
take me
hasn't been a
across the
hot fix yet because it's new. So I guess I'm done.
I'll just go to bed.
Yep.
I think it's like Final Fantasy 12, like the one with lightning. The tutorial, like you can play 10 hours, you're still in, like, and then you still get like tutorials. It's just a ridiculously long tutorial. Like the entire game is a tutorial. Like you finish the tutorial and then you like beat the game basically.
I think I saw a similar case with a playthrough I watched of No Man's Sky, where the tutorial wasn't super straightforward. It was kind of one of those like hidden tutorials that still allowed you to explore that kind of stuff. And it was just like you end up on a planet randomly generated that's low on one resource. You can't get that resource. You can't leave. So you're stuck there until you figure it out.
I had to restart my file like about 3 or 4 times because like I would find the resource, but it would be like 10 minutes away, like 10 like real-time minutes away. It's like nope, I'm not doing that. And I was telling her like the Sentinel, I didn't know what the Sentinels were.
Okay, come on.
So I saw
You wanna
something
fight
and
me?
I was like,
Let's
oh,
go.
that's
Let's
really
go.
cool.
Mono
And I just
Emo.
walked right up to them.
Yep. Oh.
And it's like, oh, these aren't
Mono
my
Emo,
friends.
kid.
These are
Dead.
bad.
What was the
Right.
first game that you guys played that had a female character in it? I
Wait,
think
what?
for me it was Super Mario Brothers with Princess Peach.
Wait, as a player character or as like a significant?
Just like as a character that was like big enough to be part of the plot. So like Peach and Mario,
Legend of Zelda.
Portal.
Like, or Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is the first game that I played, so maybe that's like a little bit.
Well, with Portal, it's kind of cheating because it's first person, and it's only really when you look into like
a mirror or
when
through
you
the
do a
portal.
mirror, you realize that the main character is female. Other than that, like they're so rare until I played the revamped Tomb Raider, and you know, and your Lara Croft. The weird thing is too is that like with like a lot of single player RPGs. Even if you have the choice to choose between like a male character and a female character, depending on how you like to play and kind of your personal preference or whatever, like how many people really choose that female avatar over the male? It's the same thing with like Dishonored 2 when you have the choice between Corvo and Emily. And I haven't looked into I know that their gameplay mechanics are different, but on a fundamental level as a player, like who do you want to play more? You know.
Well, I know some people that play, like some men that play female Shepard on Mass Effect just because they prefer Jennifer Hale's acting over Mark Meer.
Do you guys ever feel that like if you're on like a avatar based game or whatever that like males could if they play female avatars, it's like totally chill. If because when I got my safe way of MMO gaming was to play male characters and not say anything, because then no one knows who you are and everyone you just kind of blend in. But if someone finds that you're female playing a male character, they get super like creeped out by you as a person.
So I used to do like like the forum RPGs, like Pro Boards, like you would write it. And I used to play like male characters, like I'd play male and female characters. And I know like I had one person text me and was like, you're an abomination against God because you're playing a man. Like, you want to be a transsexual. And I was like, okay. It's like, I mean, and it was a Harry Potter forum. So it's like Harry Potter is written by J.K. Rowling, who is a woman, like writing about a male character. Like, so it's like, but
it's like why is gender diversity and that kind of stuff so weirdly examined? Like it should not. It really should not matter. It literally should not.
Well, I feel like when all of my like when all of my male friends that are gamers would play as women characters in games, it was always supposed to be like as a joke. Like it was never serious. It was always like either I'm gonna sexualize this character as much as possible, or I'm gonna make fun of it because she's a girl.
Yeah. I have a guy that usually plays as a female avatar, and he's like, I've got some random, and like he has a very gender neutral. And also, it's fun, so it's kind of two chances. It's like one, he signed into my account when I was gone to like pick up some stuff for me and play. And he was like, I had more people randomly send me like invites or party requests or everything, like using my gamer tag. Because again, my gamer tag has lady in the front. Like my gamer tag is very, very obviously female.
Random friend requests.
Yeah, he's like, I got so many random messages, so many like random party requests. It's like I've never like in 10 minutes, and I've had like in years of playing Xbox. And he also said that every now and then, like, he does get, like, you know, somebody would ask him to join a party. So he was like, I'll deliberately join the party and then answer yes, like, in the deepest voice I can as a man, and then just immediately leave.
You press this one.
It's,
oh, God, this is so wrong.
It's really frustrating when you join a game and you're just trying to play, and the second you say something, you're either berated by a bunch of 12-year-olds, or you get a bunch of really creepy messages. Like,
My
I
favorite.
have a lot of weird ones on
So I know
TikTok.
Sarah has had like a much more limited game experience. Who was your first female like gaming heroine, I should say?
I know I keep talking about Life is Strange, but Max Caulfield, oh my God, like, I love her so much. She's so good. She's so pure.
And it's like, that's really great though that your first like introduction to video games is Max Caulfield.
Yeah.
Like she's
like
young.
I personally identify with Max Caulfield. Like I love her so much. Like I really like the fact that this game is completely driven by a strong female friendship. Say what you will about Chloe. I'm not a huge Chloe fan. I think she's an enabler, but that's another time. Another topic for another episode.
That's what
about.
Fire, kill.
But I just love like how like much of a strong character she was, and none of her adventures and none of like the plot advancement was driven by her need of a male partner.
Yeah.
Like, there was Warren. We all wanted her to get with Warren because, like, you know, super cute relationship goals, but
there wasn't like
Warren,
it wasn't a necessity.
Yeah, and like Warren was not a necessity of the plot. Max did not need a male presence in her life.
Yeah.
And she was a well-rounded, intelligent, strong young woman, and I thought she was a brilliant character. And
I really love the trend of young, like, girls being the protagonists for games, like Ellie and Max, and I want to see more of that.
Overwatch.
So can
Sorry.
So
I'm so sorry.
What are the purple things that like keep on walking through?
They look like
people?
tracks.
Yeah, it's
So-
clearly
so
no.
So we were talking about like things that are picked up from other games.
No.
So who plays Witcher 3?
Me.
Yeah, Witcher 3, the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little glowy
It sees
footprints.
you. You're gonna die.
You think?
This game, honestly,
very
is
angry.
like
Rip Abby.
Far Cry, Witcher 3, Skyrim.
Well, I think
It really
like,
is.
I,
Oh
I
my-
think like there's a point
no.
where like all like most games you can kind
Up
of
on the D-pad.
say that to some degree, like
D-pad.
they're taking
There you
things
go.
from each other and
wish
mashing
I-
them together.
Ooh.
But
Yeah. Oh.
like the UI for this is very like I haven't played
There's
a lot of
build
Far
up
Cry.
to this
one of
melee
them.
attack.
Love it. Nice. Abby slew some robots. Proud of you.
I feel so accomplished.
So accomplished.
Where's the next? There we go. There's the loot all.
And my also favorite thing is like both Ellie from The Last of Us and Max Caulfield are young female protagonists, not objectified in any way, and queer.
Have you seen the trailer for Last of Us 2?
Yes, and I screamed very loudly because I am so ready for Ellie to be like the most played character.
I love that song, like though that she was singing.
Yeah,
that
it
is an amazing
does.
song.
Like I love
really
a good
happy.
video game soundtrack. Like
I think those ones you can scare.
The life is I sound so like crazy obsessed with Life is Strange,
totally.
but that's my only reference point. So I'm sorry, audience.
We are eventually going to
but-
make her play Heavy Rain. That's Sarah's next game.
Yeah, but that was also Resident Evil 7. That was a fun time.
Yes, if you did not see Sarah plays Resident
Honestly,
Evil 7, check it out. I believe it's on our YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
I'll mail it.
Not yet, but it will be.
It will be on YouTube.
So
It
if
will
you
be.
like screaming and watching me
Yeah,
suffer,
no.
yeah, you can go check that
Yeah,
out.
get wrecked,
But
better
I
run.
love a
you
good
take
video
over.
game soundtrack.
That way,
Yeah.
in case they come,
That's
in
the
case they
only
come
like
back,
relation
you
I
can do
have,
it.
and they're so good. Like the Life is Strange soundtrack is beautiful.
All right, so I didn't really tell you where you were going following these tracks, but you are trying to find what is called a scrapper, which is a machine in this game that when another robot animal dies is like a vulture. It rips out parts that it wants to hoard for itself. And this scrapper has, in fact, taken a girl's spear who was made by her dead mother. So you're going to go retrieve that and beat the crud out of a scrapper for it.
Saying that
Hey, there's
a girl
turkeys.
has no.
You let the turkeys go.
I couldn't even finish that Game of Thrones reference, but it was so good.
I need this explained to me. What are the little purple things? Like, what am I looking at here?
It's basically you're tracking something. Those are its tracks. But you're tracking it visually because of Aloy's little thing on her head. She has like this, she calls it a focus. And it basically allows you to like see the digital paths of everything.
Direction.
No, it just it winds around really weird, and suddenly you have to backtrack. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Where's it going?
I don't. I think I went back to the very start of it. Is this a start?
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, we're good at this.
Y'all, it's gonna be a long ride.
Note to self, Abby and Kat are not massive sandbox RPG people.
Not really
I beg
direction.
to differ. I actually am a huge open world RPG fan. Excuse your face. I'm just
Excuse my face.
I'm just bad with like
Learning a game on
I'm bad
television.
with
Learning a game on
whatever this is. Whatever
This?
this is.
That's
This is-
right.
I
PC
do,
game.
I do this, not this. Also learning
I
a game
do
on the spot.
WASP and not
Yeah,
this.
exactly. There we go.
I feel.
I have a really hard time with PC games just because like I'm so used to a console that like when I see the keys like out of the corner of my eyes, I'm like, oh my god, what am I staring? There's
yeah.
so much there. Like even when I play games on a PC, I have a controller.
I think
it's
we're
just
gonna run out
easier.
of time before you ever find out where you're going.
No.
Horses?
Hey, they're back.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today for gameplay. Go ahead and pause instead of dying. But before we go, what have you guys thought so far about Horizon Zero Dawn? Has it made your guys' wish list yet? I mean, aside from dying a lot.
Would button mash again.
Would button mash again.
I'm going to be going to my phone and going onto Amazon and lose $47.
Those
Like,
graphics,
spend.
though.
I'm hoping that they do like a PC release. I know a lot of
I know
some games are
yeah.
super console exclusive, but I'd be curious to see what a PC release would look like.
Sarah,
Oh, yeah.
would you come over to my house and play this on my PlayStation 4?
I'll come over to your house any day, but yeah, since I don't have a PlayStation, yeah, Emmy, you'll be seeing a lot of me at your home.
It's not like I don't already, Sarah. Let's take a minute to recap on why we had this episode in the first place. What does it mean to be a woman in the gaming culture? For a lot of people, it means very different things. For me, it means what I love. It's what I do. Obviously, I'm here. I play games for a living, and I play a lot of games at home. I work at GameStop, and it's just a part of who I am, who I was growing up. Samus was my first female gamer hero, and I've been so empowered by it for such a long time. What does it mean to you guys?
That's a real big question to end on there.
What
I mean,
Gaming has always just been a very like I love it as just this new kind of immersive form of storytelling. It's unique, just like any other form of storytelling, I think, in its own right. And so exploring how different stories can be told, I think, is a really big deal, and that's why I game. That's why I play the games I do. So I don't know.
what does being a female gamer mean to me? It means doing what I like and being unapologetic about it.
Yes.
I forgot that was even the question.
I love dates.
I feel like, especially like when you're a girl, like there's so many things, like, you know, like if you wear, like if you work, because I work with horses a lot, so I see like a lot of like, oh yeah, like I'm a real girl, like I wear boots and jeans, and it's like, no, but it's like I can be a real girl and wear high heels and wear boots and play video games, and like it's just a thing that you like, and it's like a part of.
None of that makes you less
yeah,
of a girl
none of
or
like
more
just
of a
because
girl.
like I wear like
You're just a person.
Yeah, and, like
Exactly.
I'm not cool because like I like play video games and I dress casually. Like I can wear like a skirt and be fancy and still enjoy video games. Like it's just a hobby.
Our baby gamer.
Baby gamer. I think what it means to me mostly is just doing what you like and like allowing yourself to like things. Because I feel like a lot of times like guys just won't let girls like things.
Amen, right?
Thank you guys so much for all of that commentary. It means a lot to have this show. And thank you all for joining us today. Thank you guys as well. We've got to run, but tune in next week for another special hour-long episode of Split Screen, the last of the season 10.
But don't worry, because we'll be returning in the spring with longer shows, bigger games, and more Split Screen.
Oh, from our couch to yours, it's Emmy Markham,
Abby Erickson,
Kat Fitzsimmons,
Kat Pollen,
and Sarah Weaver.
See you next time, Split Screeners. And remember, it's always
better
to
to
game
game
together,
together.
no matter what your gender is.
Oh.